Good evening. Thank you all for joining us this evening. We'd like to call to order this meeting for the City Council for the City of Gahanna on Monday, November 3rd, 2025. If you would please join me to stand for the invocation and Pledge of Allegiance delivered by Vice President Trenton Weaver.
Thank you. As we gather, we are grateful for, appreciate, and use each day that comes before us. For each day's duties and in each day's difficulties, we are challenged to give our best always in service and unity to one another and to our community. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Weaver. Mr. Van Meter, would you please call the roll?
Bowers.
Here.
Jones.
Here.
McGregor.
Here.
Padova.
Here.
Renner.
Here.
Schnetzer.
Here.
Weaver.
Here.
Thank you, Mr. Van Meter. Next item on this evening's agenda is to address additions or corrections to the agenda. We do have one item. We need to remove ordinance 0045-2025 from the consent agenda under second reading and adoption and move it to the regular agenda under G, item number 2. Are there any other additions or corrections to this evening's agenda? Hearing none, we'll move on to hearing of visitors this evening. Hearing of visitors is our standard process where any member of the public can address City Council with regard to any issue for up to 3 minutes. Speakers, if you would please approach the podium, provide your name and address, and you'll have 3 minutes, and we'll call these in the order in which they were received. First speaker slip we have this evening is from Ross Goldsmith.
Good evening. I'm Ross Goldsmith, 276 Gary Lee Drive, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you all this evening. I wasn't able to be here earlier when folks offered comments on the our Gahanna strategic plan, but I didn't want to miss the chance to talk a little bit about it before you vote. I ran for City Council 2 years ago, and during that campaign, I talked extensively about the need for the city to adopt a strategic plan, that comprehensive guiding document that allows us all to adapt the landscape of our city while maintaining that which makes our community unique. I was really, truly excited when the city decided to embark on this project, and I'm sincerely thankful for being able to serve on the steering committee with so many other thoughtful neighbors. As part of the committee, I have to say, the strategic process was very thoughtful. It brought together so many things that Gahanna is doing right, could be doing better, and needs some major work on. But that's what a good process does, by making it clear what needs should be tackled, how they should occur, and then ensuring it's broadly communicated. Gahanna faces the same issues as so many municipalities, a host of voices saying what should happen with little input on the steps needed to get there. The Our Gahanna Plan creates thoughtful strategies to guide the work, implementation, and reporting to the community. It won't always satisfy every neighbor, but its creation and the mayor and the council's adherence to it will go a long way towards building more community throughout our city. I'm pleased already to see a focus on a Creekside redevelopment that follows this plan. Lastly, I encourage the city to always note what parts of the plan certain legislation responds to. In introducing ordinances, it's a great way to keep the plan front and center and show your faithfulness to it. Appreciate the work you all do, and appreciate you all.
All right, thank you. Next up, we have Mr. McClurg, and I understand that Mr. McClurg wishes to speak both during hearing of visitors and the public hearing, so if you would constrain your comments just to the strategic plan for this item.
Thank you.
Name and address, please, sir.
Hi, Tim McClurg, 935 Leaf Lock Court, Gahanna, Ohio. I also was part of the steering committee. I also went through the learn about Gahanna, about different departments and things like that before I was on the steering committee, so I learned quite a bit about how a city runs, and it is quite different than how we run our own lives. There are so many rules and so many things that need to be followed. I don't think people truly understand and respect how much goes into trying to get things right for the city. There are so many dedicated workers that we got to meet during that whole time when we were on the committee and the time we got to meet with the different departments. They all want the best for the city. I think the strategic plan is a good plan. It is exactly what it says. It's a strategic plan. Like anybody who works in business, you have to plan to do a good job. Otherwise, if you fail to plan, you're going to fail. I think the plan, what people are looking for next is more detail in the plan, how we're going to do it. And I think one part of that is the reimagined Creekside, where a lot of people that were in the committee are commenting on how they want to make Creekside better. And I think this was an outcropping of that discussion of trying to make Gahanna downtown better by getting more foot traffic. So that's all I have to say on that. I think the leadership that we have for the city right now is very competent and very, I don't know what the word is, but I mean, they're dedicated to their jobs. They put in an 8-hour day and then they went and taught us at class for another 3 hours after that. Then they come to these events and push other things that we're trying to get accomplished. A lot of them were at the Halloween thing that we had at Academy Park as volunteers, not as paid employees. And so I think there's a lot in Facebook that is said about a lot of these things, and I encourage more people to come to city council meetings and at least speak up about what they like or don't like. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McClurg. All right, are there any other speaker slips that are not here for the public hearing? All right. Well, again, thank you all. It is truly a privilege to serve a community with this level of engagement, and the volume of folks in attendance tonight speaks to the commitment and the engagement of the community in things that truly matter. So thank you all so much for being here. Pursuant to our council rules 9.10 and 9.11, I will now make a brief statement or explanation about the item that is under public hearing this evening, which is Ordinance 42-2025. The administration, I believe, then also has some remarks and a short presentation to make as well. This evening's presentation will be shortened, and we would encourage everyone to take a look at the Creekside Reimagined webpage and the news item where all of the prior meetings and the slides and presentations can be located. So this evening's presentation will be a much shorter and higher level overview. This evening, we have in front of us an ordinance 42-2025, which would authorize the mayor to enter into a development agreement with Connect Realty LLC, Benson Capital LLC, and the Gahanna Community Improvement Corporation for the redevelopment of vacant and blighted properties in the Creekside District. This item is scheduled for a vote on November 17th. With that, I'd like to invite Mayor Jadwin to provide brief remarks.
Thank you very much, Madam President. Director Gaki, I believe, has some comments as well. The development agreement, just to kind of let me maybe level set for the public hearing, the development agreement for a mixed-use project that is currently pending before council and is under consideration, the project that is the subject of the public hearing for this evening, has been in the works for years. This is not a project that developed overnight. The Gahanna community, our residents, our businesses have been vocal about their desire to see Creekside be vibrant, be teeming with people, be teeming with businesses, successful business, an active area. And they have been saying that for years, for decades, and for more than a decade. We have been talking with economic development experts, experts in placemaking, the private business community, the private development community, business owners at Creekside, residents, to understand what is needed in the Creekside area to truly make that area successful and to bring it to the potential it always has had, and again, to the vision that we've been hearing from our residents about what they want to see the Creekside area be. And I would also say, since we're talking about our Gahanna tonight, I believe that desire and that interest has been reaffirmed through the our Gahanna process. Creekside has its own chapter in the our Gahanna strategic plan for a reason, and that's because of what we've heard from our community and their desire to see that area be successful. It was those conversations that led to the development of a Creekside redevelopment strategy that was publicized back in June of '22. We had a town hall right here. And it was a strategy that was informed by our community through surveys, through the private development community. Based on that strategy, the Gahanna Community Improvement Corporation, or CIC, sometimes you'll hear CIC being used, went out and purchased approximately 5 acres of parcels down in that Creekside district. Those parcels have been the subject of conversations here as we've been talking about this project. And they then issued an RFP for the purpose of having those parcels redeveloped. Over the last several years, three years now at this point, the CIC and the city's Economic Development Department have been engaged in negotiations to have those parcels redeveloped. So it was that redevelopment strategy informed by the business community and our residents 3 years ago that led to the project that we have today. The project that we have that is this development agreement is exactly in line with that Creekside redevelopment strategy, again, that was informed by our residents. So Director Gaki, I know, just has a few additional comments to add with regard to some of the conversations we've had over the past almost 2 months at this point with regard to the public conversations, the community engagement we've had over this project, and the feedback we've been hearing from residents.
Thank you, Mayor. Council, I touched on this at my last presentation, but I thought since this is a public hearing, it would be helpful for you if I would recap a bit of public engagement steps that have happened thus far and the overview of the comments that we have received through those various means. So overall, through the public engagement steps we have taken since the development agreement was first brought forth to you all, the creation of Creekside at gahanna.gov email, which is monitored daily. The creation of the website, which was mentioned earlier, creeksidereimagined.com. We held 4 public events, 2 for the general public, 2 for business owners and residents in the area, intended to gain their feedback on the overall project, but then some of their very real concerns that they might have as business owners and residents. We meet with private groups. So far, 3 of those have reached out. Extensive media coverage through the local regional media. We've had a presence at special events, including Touch a Truck, the Mill Street Market, and et cetera. And here we are tonight with a public hearing. And all of that is not to mention any of the informal conversations that we all have on a daily basis with residents or interested parties in the city. So while we had the redevelopment strategy done 3 years ago and have been working towards that ever since this has now been made public again, we have taken great steps to include and incorporate public feedback. So the major topics that we've heard through all of those variety of venues, I mentioned some last week about the overview of the comments we heard at the Creekside Reimagined public meetings, which were largely positive. But I would kind of put them into 4 major buckets, 1 more general and 3 kind of specific. A lot of discussion about parking and the need for parking lots and those 50 spots that are proposed to be lost and ideally offset with others around the region or around the area. We have done our parking demand study to better understand what the demand for those spots are while we work towards a solution, like I said, to offset those parking spots. Traffic volume continues to be a question that we hear a lot. I mentioned last time that traffic impact studies are required by our engineering department through the building and engineering approval processes. Those are vetted by our own experts to determine the validity of the studies that are submitted by the developers, so we can get a better handle on how traffic will be impacted and what mitigation measures can be taken. Lots of questions about what will happen during construction. How will residents, will they still be able to access their apartments safely and efficiently? Will the parking garage remain open? How will we phase construction to keep businesses open during construction? So those are all very good questions that we are working on those solutions. I can tell you that this will be the Economic Development Department's job to oversee those things and to coordinate with all the stakeholders throughout the life of the project, from groundbreaking to ribbon cutting will be involved, and then long after that as well. And then some kind of broad questions about just the economic need. Do we need this? Is this the best thing for Creekside? We've already tried this and it didn't work. This is just good money after bad. Or shouldn't we be getting people to stop that are driving down Mill Street instead of putting more residents in the area? I'm kind of overgeneralizing some of these comments. Those are justifiable. Those are valid. It's been a long time since we've had a development like this. There's some muscle memory that we've lost, some understanding of downtown development practices and tools. And so I don't blame anyone for having those concerns, of course. Those are valid questions to ask and work through. Questions about, do we really need more foot traffic? But overall, I would say the feedback that we've gotten about the project in general fits with the results that we heard at the public engagement session, which is, I would say, cautiously optimistic, or kind of skeptically optimistic. You know, they want it to work. They like the project in principle, but there are some questions and some concerns that we will be, all of us as a city together, working through over the near term while that project is under construction. So I did want to mention, I received 2 support letters today that have been forwarded to you all, I believe, one from the Mifflin Township trustees and one from a local Creekside District business owner. Just wanted to bring those to your attention. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mayor Jadwin and Director Gotke. At this time, we will open public comment with 3 minutes allowed per speaker. I have a stack of speaker slips in front of me. If you'd like to complete a speaker slip, please hand it to Clerk Van Meter if you would like to participate in the public hearing. When your name is called, and they'll be called in the order in which the slip was received, please approach the podium and state your name and address, and you have 3 minutes for your comments. Our first speaker slip that we received this evening for public hearing is from George Russ, CIC trustee.
George Muss, 1217 Sanctuary Place. My name is George Muss. My wife Eileen and I have been residents of Gahanna for over 19 years and live at 1217 Sanctuary Place. As a volunteer for a CIC trustee, as a CIC trustee, I've been a past president, as well as my current capacity as secretary. One of the primary missions of the Gahanna CIC is to promote economic, commercial, and civic development in the city through maximizing available redevelopment solutions. Over the past number of years, the CIC has engaged in many conversations and spent many hours of due diligence, of which a member of council has been present at each and every meeting. Those conversations have involved a number of entities as it relates to potential opportunities to develop the Creekside area. With the current development agreement in front of council, we, the CIC, have provided council, Gahanna residents, Gahanna businesses, a potential project that meets the primary mission of the CIC as stated above. The proposed development from Connect and Benson Capital can be transformational in that it has an appropriate product mix that includes an affordable housing component that will support an enhanced and vibrant Creekside for many years to come for both our residents and our businesses. Lastly, I would ask, as both a long-tenured trustee of the CIC and resident of Gahanna, the council vote to approve and support the development agreement for this project with Connect and Benson Capital. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker slip is Betty Collins, CIC trustee.
Good evening. My name is Betty Collins, and my husband Robert and I live at 917 Harmony Court, and we have been here since September of 2002. My children are graduates of Lincoln High School. This is my community by choice. And so tonight I wanted to be a part of this. I have been a part of the business community in Gahanna. I owned a business in Gahanna from 1997 to 2012. I served on the Gahanna Area Chamber of Commerce Board and was president for several of those years. And I recently am a volunteer at the CIC board over the last 10 years, and at this time I am the president. In 2021, the CIC board, which includes 2 members of council, the current administration, and the Economic Development Department, focused on a plan to promote economic development in the Creekside area. As a CPA and a business owner, you cannot ever underestimate the importance of economic development. It is a vital part of a city. To be successful, we all agreed and approved to purchase as much property as that we could so we can control a project that would come together and mean something for the whole area. We wanted a developer that would meet our expectations of mixed use residential and commercial. We also wanted to make sure this project was in alignment with the city's strategic plans. And we asked a lot of good questions, we engaged, and we've worked for the last 4 years to come to this point. I call it that we're on the 3rd yard line. The CIC board's been working with Connect and Benson Capital. Our role at CIC is to support the current administration, the economic team, and city council. And it is part of working with the right developer who has the heart for our vision and the city. And I believe that is Benson and Connect. I'm here to work, I'm here to live, and I'm here to enjoy my community, as we all are. And as a leader and a resident, I respectfully ask you to support this project and approve this development agreement. I want to thank you for the opportunity to speak at this meeting. We are a unique city. Let's keep it that way, but let's keep going on with progress. At the end of the day, it is all about Gahanna. That has always been my stamp. It's why I put time in, it's why I volunteer. And for me, I can't wait to see the Creekside live up to its potential. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Our next speaker slip is from Tyler Abrams.
Good evening, everyone. Tyler Abrams, 105 Brook Hill Drive. I wanted to take a moment to address council and address the community about the development for Creekside. I am the president of the board of directors for Visit Gahanna. I do a lot of volunteer work. I've worked with the Chamber of Commerce. I think 50% of the people in this room, and I know that everybody in this room is all working for a better Gahanna. So I'm very excited to voice my support for this project. A couple of things that I think is really important from a Visit Gahanna perspective is our job is to promote Gahanna and get people to come here. So when I talk to visitors from outside, I say, what attracts you to Gahanna? Why would you want to be here? And they always say, well, we want to be in a vibrant downtown area. We want activities, we want things to do. And that's something that Creekside right now is solely lacking. It's something that I think this development will bring back to Creekside. I think that there is ample opportunity to get more feet on the ground to support that local business. That local business money supports the city of Gahanna. It makes a huge impact to it. The concept of adding the hotel is extremely important. I don't think we've had a new hotel in Gahanna for 20 plus years. That bed tax dollars that comes directly into the city funds the things that go on in the city, the activities and the events that the city's put on. So it's very important that we not only have that hotel, but also make sure that that hotel is not extended stay. It has to make sure it's your traditional hotel for those bed tax dollars. And that's really important to the organization that we work with. The other part of this is I want to give a shout out to the Connect group. I don't know if anybody's had to see their work, but as a Columbus Crew fan, I go down to Crew Stadium and I see the work they did on the power, the electric company building over there, and then East Market is incredible. This is the right company. They're going to do the right work, and they're going to give us the Gahanna downtown that we want to see. So I want to encourage everybody to continue moving forward, taking action. We cannot sit stagnant any longer. We need to see development happen in the downtown area. So thank you.
Our next speaker slip is from Alveda Bates.
I'm Alveda Bates. I live at 100 Jan Drive. I've been a resident of Gahanna for probably, I'm 85, so probably 55 years. Anyhow, I came tonight because I would like to present an idea and concept for consideration to the proposed update for Creekside/Mill Street that I feel has been overlooked or considered. I feel it would add new life and present Gahanna residents and visitors a fresh look at urban revitalization by adding public art. Public art has been expanded through Columbus and around the Beltway, most recently Bexley and Dublin. Gahanna represents the iconic Blues and Jazz Festival in Ohio. It draws thousands of paying visitors from Ohio and beyond. And for more than 25 years, it has been Gahanna. Gahanna just is not the flea market anymore. My vision of turning down, if everybody can think this, you're coming in off of Granville Street, you've turned down Mill Street, and the first thing that you see on that big swath of building where the eye center is, I'm not sure the name of the building. Well, I see the side of that building alive with a mural of blues and jazz icons or profiles by muralists, and this is for anybody that you guys that are making the building the new center. I mean, I've got nothing to do with the architectural stuff, but I'm thinking art. Anyhow, so I think a mural of blues and jazz icons or profiles by muralists that would be symbolic and timeless with an enduring classic design. And I'm thinking Signatures already has one that would work well with what we see when we enter Gahanna. So the Blues and Jazz Festival has been incubated through the persistence and hard work of a Gahanna resident. Now it happens to be the mayor, Lori Jadwin. And I was there when she was fighting tooth and nail to make this thing work. And the thing is, now it's history. And I think if we're going to do revitalization, urbanization, all new stuff and contemporary, it seems to me that updating this area should
Ms.
be
Bates.
some creative history of our renowned and enduring festival from now on in.
Thank you, Ms. Bates.
Thank you.
Our next speaker slip this evening is from Mr. McClurg regarding the public hearing for the Creekside Development Plan. There you go.
I didn't know I had walk-up music. Thank you for the walk-up music, Marissa.
It goes with the shirt perfectly.
I know.
Look at that. Wow, hula, like a hula right
This
here.
meeting
Here
here.
we go. All right, Mr. McClurg, the floor is yours.
Tim McClurg, still living at 935 Leaflock Court in the city of Gahanna. So I'm here to vote my favor for the Imagine Nationwide, or Creekside, because I've been downtown several times, and is upsetting. We had the wine guy here, everybody loved it. The guy got overextended, then he left, and we never was able to put anything else in there. I mean, there's nothing better since I'm retired that I love to do more than my wife and I go someplace and have a glass of wine or two or three and look out at the creek. And really, there isn't any place to do that, other than a few restaurants that we have. If you remember, when we first started Creekside, it was supposed to be like San Antonio. It was supposed to be a river walk. And you can only walk so far on our river. And I know it's because it floods, but what I want to see is more shops and more things along a path that we have along that river to either eat at or to go in and buy Creekside shot glasses or whatever somebody wants, or jazz and blues things or things like that. I think art is a fantastic thing. We have a wonderful river, creek, that runs through our city, and we don't make use of it at all. My wife and I, 2 weeks ago, were over in Dublin. We went across the big Sky Bridge there, and the city of Dublin has two parts. The one side, it's vibrant and new restaurants and things, and the old side, which was all closed up. There was no businesses there. I don't know why, but there wasn't any businesses or restaurants on that side of the river, and it was a shame to see that. I don't want to see that happen to Gahanna. I do have some concerns. I'm also in line with Nancy about the parking lot. We use that parking lot for our Jazz and Blues Festival. We put a big tent there, and we have a lot of people in there. We'd have to then, if we take that away, we have to go do parking or putting the tent on the street. I think it's also a shame, this sanctuary, I don't know who owns it, but that's a lot of parking that they use for their wedding venue or any meetings they have there. You're expecting them to walk from the parking garage or even a closer garage. Think about if it rains and you have a wedding to go to and you're in an umbrella. You want to just be able to zip across the street. I think the other thing about the hotel, and I mentioned this to the builder, I mentioned it to our planning, I think the hotel needs to have a beautiful overlooking restaurant of our creek in our outside area. So anyways.
Thank you for your time, Mr. McClurg.
So that's really what I'm looking for. I think, more of a river walk type thing that we wanted, 20 years ago. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McClurg. Our last speaker slip this evening, and we're getting a new clock, by the way, is Keisha Smith-Jones. Just know that if you run it down, we're going to get walk-off music.
Don't worry. I've practiced a couple times. I think I'm within the 3 minutes. Good evening. I'm Keisha Smith-Jones. My residence is 906 Preble Drive in Blacklick. However, my business is at 81 Mill Street. Good evening, Mayor, council members, and neighbors. My name is Keisha Smith-Jones, and I am the owner of the Executives Wealth Advisor, serving individuals, families, and business owners throughout Gahanna, the state of Ohio, and also neighboring states. I am the president of the Gahanna Area Chamber, but tonight I speak to you as a business owner in the heart of Creekside. My office is located right in the heart of Creekside at 81 Mill Street. I live and work through many of the same frustrations that many have voiced, from parking challenges and traffic flow to the growing pains that already exist and to come with any development. I understand those concerns because I experience them every day alongside my clients and my neighbors. But as someone who helps people make smart, long-term financial decisions, I also recognize when an investment has the power to strengthen an entire community. And the Creekside Development Project is one of those opportunities. I'd like to highlight my 4 main points in support of this project. First, this project can revitalize local commerce. More thoughtfully planned spaces mean more visitors, more spending, and more energy supporting the restaurants, boutiques, and service businesses that make Creekside such a special place to live and work. Secondly, it builds confidence and stability. When residents and business owners see investment in the heart of our community, it signals growth, resilience, and a city that believes in its own future. That kind of confidence attracts new entrepreneurs and supports existing businesses, including those of us that are already here. Third, it promotes sustainable prosperity. With smart design and community input, this development can expand our local tax base, support better infrastructure, and support the schools and services that sustain our families and our workforce. And fourth and final, Gahanna is an evolving Central Ohio premier suburban community, much like the Westervilles, the Dublins, and New Albanies that have been mentioned already. What sets us apart is our walkability and sense of community. The ability to live, work, and enjoy the space all in one place is vital and essential. I've been down here for 6 years. So whether it's visiting the Arboretum, enjoying a meal and friendly gathering in the core district, attending a local event at the sanctuary, all in one place while supporting small businesses that define our local economy. Yes, the frustrations are real, and I share them, but I also see the bigger picture, an opportunity to shape Creekside into a destination that reflects who we are, innovative, welcoming, and future-focused. I fully support this project because I believe in Creekside. I believe it can continue to be the heart of Gahanna's growth, not just for business owners like myself, but for every resident and business owner who calls the city home. Thank you.
Whew, that was close. Thank you all so much. Do we have any other speaker slips this evening?
None.
All right. With that, we will close the public hearing, and I, again, appreciate so much those of you who shared of your time and your input. As a reminder, this ordinance will be back on our Committee of the Whole agenda next week, November 10th at 7 p.m. That will provide final opportunity, I think, for council members to engage in discussion, ensure alignment with intention within the development agreement, and be prepared to move this item forward for a final vote on November 17th. As a reminder, folks can continue to engage and ask questions with the administration and certainly with council as well. Questions can be directed at creekside@gahanna.gov. So please direct your questions to creekside@gahanna.gov. Multiple people are monitoring that address with firsthand knowledge to answer your questions. You're also welcome to continue to engage with council members and anyone who wishes, who is maybe not here or here in the room or watching remotely, is welcome to provide further input by emailing council@gahanna.gov or attend our meeting on November 17th and offer comment during our standard hearing of visitors section. All right, with that, I thank you all so much for your time for being here, and we'll move on to Section E of the consent agenda of this evening's agenda. We have several ordinances that require second reading before we entertain a motion to adopt the consent agenda. Mr. Van Meter, would you please read ordinances 44, 47, and 48 into the record?
Ordinance 044-2025, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an easement agreement with Columbia Gas of Ohio, Inc. to provide natural gas service to the cell tower located at Lower McCorkle Park. Ordinance 0047-2025, an ordinance to accept a sanitary sewer easement on properties located at 490 and 495 Crescent Circle, parcel IDs 025-014183 and 025-014182. Ordinance 0048-2025, an ordinance to accept the public sanitary sewer infrastructure located along Crescent Circle, SA 1113.
Thank you, Mr. Van Meter. Is there a motion to approve consent agenda as published?
So moved.
First by Mr. Schnetzer.
Second.
I have a second by Mr. Renner. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, Mr. Van Meter, would you please call the roll?
Schnetzer?
Yes.
Renner?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
McGregor?
Yes.
Padova?
Yes.
Weaver?
Yes.
Bowers?
Yes. Motion carries, and the items on the consent agenda are adopted as published. Section F, resolutions. We have two items on the agenda this evening. Resolution 0046-2025, a resolution adopting the Gahanna Strategic Plan and Economic Development Strategy. It's my privilege to ask for a motion to adopt Resolution 46-2025.
So moved.
I have a first by Mr. Schnetzer. Second. A second by Ms. Jones. All right. Is there a discussion on this item this evening? All right. Mrs. Padova.
I just want to take a minute to thank everyone who was on the steering committee. I know a lot of the people who are on it are here this evening, so thank you for all of the time that you've put in. I know there are a lot of early mornings, late nights, and extra time that you are volunteering, and all have busy lives, so thank you for the dedication to our community.
Thank you. Further question or discussion? Yes, Mr. Schnetzer.
No real discussion, Madam President, but likewise, thanks to everyone that was on the steering committee. I know many of you hosted small groups and in some cases in your own homes, so the fact that you're willing to do that for your community goes a long way. There's a number of you in the room now. It was an honor to serve with all of you, so thank you very much.
Thank you. And just to piggyback on that, you know, this process really, I think, exemplified the best of what local government can do. And I definitely want to applaud our consultant Planning Next, along with Senior Director of Administrative Services, Director Vollmer, for her work in ensuring that this process went very well. And I think, like I said, represented truly the best of local government, where we can shape the values and direction of the place that we all call home. So thank you all so much for your work, and to the volunteers who supported the Strategic Plan Steering Committee as well. With that, Mr. Van Meter, would you please call the roll?
Schnetzer?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
McGregor?
Yes.
Padova?
Yes.
Renner?
Yes.
Weaver?
Yes.
Bowers?
Yes. Motion carries and Resolution 46-2025 is adopted. Congratulations. All right, the next item we have on this evening's agenda is Resolution 53-2025, a resolution recognizing Veterans Day 2025 and honoring the service and sacrifice of the men and women who have served in the United States Armed Forces. I'll just note before I turn this item over to Vice President Weaver that there was one minor amendment following initial publication. Section 1 of the resolution language has been modified slightly to include veterans and active duty service members. With that, Mr. Weaver.
Thank you, Madam President. I'll be brief on this item. As we know, November 11th, 2025 marks Veterans Day, a day when our nation pauses to honor the brave men and women who have worn the uniform of the United States military and who have defended our country with courage, duty, and honor. There was one clause from the resolution that really stood out to me, and it reads, "Our veterans have demonstrated through service and sacrifice that defending the Constitution is more than a duty. It is an act of faith in the American promise and a testament to the enduring strength of our democracy." I believe the service and sacrifice is undertaken so that we can all enjoy the many freedoms that we are able to enjoy. As a first-generation American, the impact of our veterans' service is not lost on me, but it serves as a promise for and an inspiration to future generations. I would be remiss if I did not offer our thanks to our many local veteran services organizations for all that they do in service to our veterans. And so as we recognize next Tuesday as Veterans Day, we do so with gratitude in our hearts and a firm belief in the power of service to our nation and our fellow countrymen.
Thank you, Mr. Weaver. Is there a first to adopt Resolution 53-2025?
So moved.
I have a first by Mr. Weaver.
Second.
A second by everyone. For the minutes, I think Ms. Padova, her voice carried first. All right. Any further discussion on this resolution this evening? All right. Thank you all so much for your collaboration in developing this resolution this evening, particularly Mr. Van Meter. Mr. Van Meter, would you please call the roll?
Weaver?
Yes.
Padova?
Yes.
Renner?
Yes.
Schnetzer?
Yes.
Bowers?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
McGregor?
Yes. Motion carries and Resolution 53-2025 is adopted. Next section on this evening's agenda is ordinances for second reading and adoption. We have Ordinance 43 for second reading. We'll start there. Mr. Van Meter.
Ordinance 0043-2025, an ordinance adopting the 2026 to 2030 City of Gahanna Capital Improvement Plan, superseding all prior capital improvement plans and providing for future sunset.
Thank you, Mr. Van Meter. Is there a motion to adopt Ordinance 43-2025?
So moved, Madam President.
I have a first by Mr. Schnetzer
Second.
and a second by Mr. Weaver. By way of discussion, we do have a recommended amendment to substitute Exhibit A. Would someone like to move to amend Ordinance 43-2025 to incorporate substitute Exhibit A?
So moved.
I have a first by Mr. Renner and a second by Mr. Schnetzer. Is there any discussion on the amendment this evening? Mr. Van Meter, would you please call the roll regarding the motion to amend?
Renner?
Yes.
Schnetzer?
Yes.
Weaver?
Yes.
Bowers?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
McGregor?
Yes.
Padova?
Yes.
Motion carries and ordinance 43 is amended as stated. As to the underlying ordinance, is there any further discussion this evening? All right, hearing none, Mr. Van Meter, would you please call the roll?
Schnetzer?
Yes.
Weaver?
Yes.
Renner?
Yes.
Bowers?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
McGregor?
Yes.
Padova?
Yes.
Motion carries and ordinance 43-2025 is adopted. The next item we have on this evening's agenda is ordinance 45-2025. Mr. Van Meter, would you please read it for second reading?
Ordinance 0045-2025, an ordinance accepting an access easement agreement for 135 Sarin Drive to provide city access to existing sanitary sewer infrastructure.
Thank you, Mr. Van Meter. Is there a motion to adopt ordinance 45-2025?
So moved.
I have a first by Ms. Jones
Second.
and a second by Mr. Schnetzer. By way of discussion, to start, we do have a request for an amendment. I believe all of the council members have a red line version printed off in front of them. The requested amendment is to pass this item with emergency. So the first amendment would be to amend the title to add the phrase "and declaring an emergency." The second amendment would be, whereas the administration recommends passage of this ordinance as an emergency measure necessary for the immediate preservation of the public peace, property, health, safety, and welfare of the city of Gahanna. To wit, the grantors are awaiting approval of the easement prior to placing their home on the market, and a miscommunication regarding the timing of this process necessitates immediate action. And the third amendment is to Section 3, to amend it to read that for the reasons set forth in the preamble above, this ordinance is declared an emergency measure which shall be in full force and effect after passage by this council and on the date of signature of approval by the mayor. Is there a motion to amend the ordinance with those three amendments as stated?
So moved.
I have a first by Mr. Schnetzer
Second.
and a second by Mr. Renner. Any discussion regarding the amendment? Mr. Schultz, would you like to make a statement regarding this ordinance?
Only if there's questions.
Okay. Hearing none.
I would just
Yes.
say, thank you. Having had multiple communications with the resident, I know we don't love emergency as a council, but I appreciate it in this regard for, peace of mind for the resident, so thank you.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Jones. A second on the amendment? Mr. Schnetzer and Mr. Renner? Yes? Okay. Perfect. Okay, thank you. All right, any further discussion? Thank you, Ms. Jones. Any further discussion on the amendment? All right. Hearing none, Mr. Van Meter, would you call the roll?
Schnetzer?
Yes.
Renner?
Yes.
Weaver?
Yes.
Bowers?
Yes?
Jones?
Yes.
McGregor?
Yes.
Padova?
Yes.
The motion carries and the amendment is adopted as stated and is as in the red line in front of us. As to the underlying ordinance, is there a motion to adopt ordinance 45-2025 as amended?
We already have a motion and second.
Oh, sorry, I apologize, excuse me. Okay, any further discussion on that item? All right, hearing none, Mr. Van Meter, would you please call the roll?
Jones?
Yes.
Schnetzer?
Yes.
Weaver?
Yes.
Bowers?
Yes.
Padova?
Yes.
McGregor?
Yes.
Renner?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Van Meter. The motion carries and ordinance 45-2025 is adopted. Next section on this evening's agenda is correspondence and actions. Mr. Van Meter, do you have anything?
Nothing this evening.
Thank you. Council members, I offered one correspondence that was received from a resident It has been categorized as 2025-0223. There's been a request for the City of Gahanna to recognize World Day of Remembrance for road traffic victims on November 16th, 2025, and contained in that communication file is further information regarding an event associated with World Day of Remembrance for road traffic victims. Is there any further correspondence or actions from my colleagues? All right, thank you. On to Section I, Representatives, Community Improvement Corporation, Mr. Renner and Mrs. Padova.
Yes, Madam President, the CIC, we did meet on October 21st. The CIC ended the month we ended September with $268,000, and the Heartland Bank loan is no longer reflected on our ledger. Treasurer Jeff Kessler provided a proposed budget for 2026. He commented that rent was removed from the 2026 budget. Legal fees are projected to go up, and property taxes will increase by $16,000. Treasurer Kessler also removed the flood insurance for the buildings that are going to be demoed. Treasurer Kessler also commented that he will attend the call with the Franklin County Auditor Appeals Board regarding an increase in property taxes on a CIC-held building. Director Gotke also gave a summary of the council meeting held the night prior and communicated that the development agreement vote would be delayed until November 17th. This was followed by a discussion. No motion or further action was taken by the CIC. CIC entered into executive session at 8:37 a.m. and came out at 9:17. We did have an update on the condition of the infield house given by Carter and Zarek. No action was taken by the board on that measure, and we adjourned at 9:31.
Thank you, Mr. Renner. And your next meeting, do you have that scheduled?
Yes, thank you.
November 18th. All right. Thank you both so much for your service on the CIC. Mid-Ohio Regional Planning Commission, Vice President Weaver.
Thank you, Madam President. As always, my thanks to Council Office for their assistance in the preparation of the report. I would encourage my colleagues to take a look at the report. Lots of good stuff in there. Our next commission meeting will be on Thursday, the 13th, and I will have more to say at that time.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Weaver. Convention and Visitors Bureau, Councilwoman Padova.
Yes, it is hard to believe that we are already talking about Christmas, but Gahanna Holiday Lights Celebration will be held on Sunday, November 23rd from 3 to 6:30 down at the Creekside District. And we are always looking for volunteers for that. So if you would like to volunteer, you can go to Visit Gahanna to learn more about that. Also, the Santa Race 5K and Little Reindeer Dash will be on November 6th. New this year, it will be at Academy Park, so you can go to Visit Gahanna for more information on that and to sign up for that as well.
Thank you, Councilwoman Padova. School Board, Councilwoman Jones.
Yeah, just wanted to remind colleagues and community of the upcoming board meetings this month. First is board workshop meeting this Thursday, November 6th, 6:30 at Chapel Field Elementary. There is the Finance and Facilities Committee meeting on Tuesday, November 18th, 6:30 at Clark Hall, and then regular board meeting November 20th, 6:30 at Clark Hall as well. And then last is just to say a huge congratulations to the high school's cross-country team who are OHSAA state champions for this year. So congratulations to all coaches, staff, parents that support them. They did a really fabulous job, and we're happy to celebrate them as a community.
Excellent. Thank you, Councilwoman Jones. All right, we are up to official reports and start with Mayor Jadwin.
Thank you very much. Over the last several weeks, our food pantries here in Gahanna have seen a significant increase and in demand for help. GRIN just released some numbers that just year over year for the months of August and September, they've seen a 41% increase. So the demand is expected to continue, if not continue to increase in the coming weeks. With that, in the next few days, we will be implementing round 2 of the established 2025 Community Grants Program, utilizing funds that already have been appropriated under the program for this year, but have not yet been allocated from round 1. Round 2 will be limited to established Gahanna organizations that work specifically to address food insecurities within the Gahanna community. We expect those applications to be live this Wednesday, November 5th. And then application deadline would be the 14th. Information will be posted on our social media channels and our website, gahanna.gov. And we'll also be conducting direct reach outs to the organizations with application information to those organizations that have participated or at least applied even for the program over the last 2 to 3 years that we've been running that program, so that they are aware of that and can respond immediately. But we have the funds available that we did not expend fully this year. And given the need that we see in the community, think that that would be a good use. It is still in line with the parameters of the original program, just specifically focused to food insecurity. I want to sincerely thank all of those people who are here tonight for taking the time to be here to share their thoughts on the Creekside Reimagined program and on the proposed downtown redevelopment project. Your input, whether in support, whether with questions or concerns, is essential to helping all of us in this room make decisions that truly reflect the values and the wants of our community. The level of engagement that we've seen throughout this process, from the first community conversation that we had at the Creekside Conference and Events Center, available to watch on September 24th if you haven't seen that yet, throughout tonight, and certainly continuing over the next few weeks, I think really reflects the priorities that people in this community put into making sure that they see the Gahanna that they want to call home. We know how much you care about the future of our downtown, and we truly appreciate your willingness to walk up to that microphone. It's not always easy, whether it's making a comment here, sending a letter, reaching out with a question. We really appreciate the open and constructive dialogue that we've been experiencing with our residents. We'll continue to review all the feedback that we've received, ensure that it plays a meaningful role, and I know Council will as well, as they, in the next 2 weeks, continue to evaluate this project and the development agreement. Thank you again for taking your time, you're sharing your ideas. I will echo Councilwoman Bowers. If you have questions, Creekside at Gahanna.gov. Director Gaki watches it 24/7. He tells me he does. He's up at 3 in the morning waiting for questions to come in. But we also have CreeksideReimagined.com, where you can find information on the project, and in fact, both of the projects that we've been talking about within the community, as well as links to every public conversation that we have had dating back to the Creekside redevelopment strategy that I referenced earlier tonight. So I encourage you to visit that page as well if you have further questions or if you know somebody else who does. And then finally, tonight marks an important milestone for our city as we move forward with the Our Gahanna strategic plan and economic development strategy. It is the culmination of more than a year's worth of work and effort by many people, and many of them are in this room. And I really just want to take a moment to extend my sincere thanks to everyone who made this effort possible. I don't know that Bailey from Planning Next is still here. She's about 3 weeks from her due date, but she lived this process with us from Planning Next, along with Sarah Bongiorno. They were an incredible team to work with, providing their expertise, their experience, their patience, their insights, and just guiding us through this project. To our dedicated staff, our internal project team led by Director Vollmer, Senior Director Vollmer, Kelsey Bartholomew, Rachel Zarek. Thank you. Miranda, thank you for your leadership, your ownership of this project, and making sure that it was first-rate done from beginning to adoption tonight. I know we're not done. This is just step one. We have the implementation to begin in the coming years. But thank you for your leadership. Kelsey, Rachel, as well, your collaboration, your commitment throughout this process. You worked miracles. You were herding cats, as one of our steering committee members has said earlier. You worked across departments. You organized events. You engaged with the community. We have many of our directors here who showed up at event after event and really helped to shape a clear, forward-looking vision for our community. And we have many members of our steering committee here, a group largely comprised of residents. 27 out of 30 were residents of Gahanna, 2 council members, and myself served on that as well. You spent countless hours in conversation, putting little sticky notes on things, whether it was table talk conversations, standing on the plaza through event engagements, attending events in the rain, talking to residents, just sharing news about this opportunity. You were ensuring that all of the voices in our community had a chance to be heard and making sure that we had a plan, a strategic plan and an economic development strategy that truly reflects the vision of our community. Your input in this process was invaluable as well. And I want to thank each and every one of you for what you have done and your contributions. Don't go anywhere because we're going to continue to implement this plan now, so we're going to need you in the future as well. And finally, thank you to the thousands of residents who participated over the past year. Again, table talk conversations, online surveys, workshops, community events. It was our residents' ideas and their input that really shaped the priorities and goals that now we, as the leaders in this community, will be pursuing and following over the coming years. The plan is more than a document. It is truly a shared vision that's been built by our community for our community. And because of your collective efforts, our collective efforts here, we now have a strong foundation to move Gahanna forward. So I look forward to continuing that collaborative spirit as we work in the years ahead to build our Gahanna, the community that all of you want to see. And then the last thing I will just mention is given Veterans Day, thank you for the Resolution Council. The Gahanna Lincoln High School has a Veterans Ceremony this Thursday at 9:30 a.m. Presented by the Gahanna Lincoln High School Student Council. If you haven't been there before, it's just a lovely ceremony. They do it right out on the Memorial Plaza here. And then our Veterans Day ceremony, which is Tuesday, November 11th at 11 a.m. At Veterans Memorial Park, also a wonderful moving event. So look forward to seeing the community there. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Jadwin. City Attorney Tamala Larison.
Yes, thank you. Previously, the city elected to participate in litigation with the City of Columbus for the tobacco preemption litigation. We were successful on the trial court. It was appealed. We were successful on the appeals level. As of last week, the Ohio Supreme Court has accepted jurisdiction over this case, and so the briefing schedule has started to see if we are successful on that level also, and I will keep you apprised of any updates there.
Thank you very much. All right, Section K, council comment, beginning with Councilwoman McGregor.
Thank you. Just want to thank Parks and Rec and everybody who went together to put on the Great Goblin Fest. My husband worked at a booth there, and so I transported workers up and back because parking was kind of tricky in the area around there. So I transported people up and back and up again. And my husband walked home. He finished his shift, and so he decided he would just walk home through the path down through Academy. He said the spookiest part of walking home was in the woods, not all the things you all did were not as spooky as walking home in the dark down the path. But one little girl, I was a 5-year-old, I brought her home, and this was a common thread. I asked several people what their favorite thing was, and they all said the swaying witch. And several people, including an engineer, want to know how they did that because they can't quite figure out how that worked out. So anyway, they all had a great time, so thanks very much. That's all.
Thank you, Mrs. McGregor. Councilwoman Jones.
Nothing for me this evening.
Thank you, Councilwoman Jones. Councilwoman Padova.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Jadwin and the administration for opening up the community grants program to help support people having trouble getting food right now. Grin has seen a huge increase, and as someone who worked at Grin, I understand their impact on our community. I do want to let people know that if you are looking for ways to help, the most impactful way that you can help most food banks, but Grin specifically, is with cash donations because they can make your money go much further than going to the store and spending X amount of dollars on groceries at the grocery store. Also, they do a program with identifying students at school. Teachers identify students and give them extra food to take home for the weekends. So if you have any little snack pack things, little applesauce pouches, proteins, things like that. Please, especially if it's something that your kid's not eating, if it's unopened, unexpired, you can donate those as well, and they can use those for their weekend programs, for weekend lunches. I have been very, I'm not surprised actually, because my experience at Grin was that this community is one that shows up whenever anybody needs anything. And that has been exactly what's happened here in the last week as people are losing benefits. I've seen multiple people have reached out to me telling me about blessing boxes that are being put up here, or, you know, my husband's making one, where can we put it? And asking how they can help our community. So thank you to everyone who is trying to help the most vulnerable in our community. Also, thank you for, I saw that in the budget for 2026, and I appreciate seeing that as well. So this is a great community and one that is always showing up for one another. So thank you all for being part of it.
Thank you, Councilwoman Padova. Councilman Renner.
I can't follow that.
All right, thank you.
Very well done. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Renner. Mr. Schnetzer.
Yeah, nothing to add this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Schnetzer. Mr. Weaver.
Thank you, Madam President. Yes, I'll just add my thanks for reopening the community grant program. I think that's a wonderful opportunity and wonderful way to use the remaining funds. So thank you to the administration for doing that. I also want to thank everyone who came out for our public hearing and hearing of visitors. Again, I never like to speak on behalf of my colleagues, but your feedback is important to us and does matter. So thank you very much. Lastly, as I always say, the night before an election, tomorrow is election day. Reminder to get out and vote and thank a poll worker. So thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Weaver. I also want to reflect my appreciation and gratitude for this creative recognition of ensuring that the totality of what was allocated for the community grant program is getting back out into our community where the need is greatest. If I recall correctly, it's about $20,000 remaining.
It's approximately
$18,000. Okay, excellent. So that can go a really long way for the two pantries that we do have here in Gahanna, St. Matthew's, the Apostle on Havens Corners Road, and of course Grin, which is our primary largest supplied pantry. So thank you. In addition to, I think, just reflecting all the gratitude that has already been shared, I just wanted to share that I am continuing to engage in informal dialogue, in one-on-one conversations with residents, particularly regarding, of course, the Creekside project, the private redevelopment project, but of course, the public plaza project is also top of mind, and various other items. My next opportunity for that informal one-on-one engagement will be this Saturday, November 8th at the library at 10 a.m., so the Gahanna Branch Library on Granville Street. So I welcome residents to come and speak. We'll be able to share all the presentations and get into deeper conversations or questions if you'd like, and of course share your feedback and thoughts. And with that, if there's nothing further this evening, we will adjourn this regular meeting and enter into Finance Committee. Thank you.
All right, I'd like to go ahead and call to order our Finance Committee. First up, actually, the only item that we have on our agenda is questions for our public safety budget. Is there a presentation, or we'll give a couple of minutes for situation? Miranda, I hand it off.
Good evening. Yeah, good evening. Thank you, Chair Renner. Thank you for working with us to determine what these presentations would be most helpful. So today, Director Becker and Chief Spence will go over the 2026 priorities for the Division of Police, and then we'll be happy to answer any questions following.
Thank you this evening. Attached are our priorities for '26. Obviously, 825 and our transition, both operationally, which is a big part of what we've been working through in 2025, is going to be at the forefront of 2026. Not only the technology, our comm center move, but also just the various operations in spaces that we've really not had before. And that kind of goes along with our accreditation. We've about ready to jump through that hurdle here in the next week or so, hopefully coming back with that accreditation. But that also means certain standards that we were unable to meet because our facility did not meet those, such as our detention standards, things to do with our property and evidence handling. All of those are cured with our move to 825. Second, training. Certainly, we want to make maximum use of our training spaces that are a part of 825. We've already had some internal meetings, layering in the range space, the classroom areas, and then all of that working internally with how we do our in-service training, which is once a quarter, expanding that to roll call trainings and again, making maximum use of the 825 facility. Continued focus on employee wellness initiatives, our mental health response through our community liaison officers through to our mental health liaison position, continuing to expand that. By the way, we do have another mental health fair coming up in the next couple of weeks. That also is working internally with our peer assistance team. Also, as we mentioned last year, we do have resiliency reboot sessions that are managed by Lieutenant Cohagen behind me for our sworn and communication staff in terms of making sure that any situations they may encounter, any stress is handled, and that we look out for their mental wellness. Again, speaking of community engagement, the community liaison, working through our school resource officers, continuing to expand those programs and availability, trying to reach other segments of the community, continuing with our Block Watch program, expanding Block Watch. We've got a number of other programs that we launched this year, including our Handle with Care program at the school level and middle school program. So we've rolled that out this last quarter. So continuing those engagement touch points. Finally, in our operating budget, expanding our flock footprint, looking at adding cameras in areas where we found gaps in coverage, specifically in some of our neighborhoods to the northeast, making sure that with the increased traffic on Tech Center Drive, the development that's happened on the southern end of the city, and certainly putting in a sensitive infrastructure like 825, we are asking in our operating budget to expand the number of cameras we have in operation. That's really, Miranda did touch on our staffing asks. Those staffing asks were covered. If there are any questions regarding staffing or the operational side, I am going to turn it over to the safety director in case I missed anything in that brief.
We have a lot of great stuff going on in public safety. We're really excited about, as Chief already mentioned. And all of that is only able to happen with your support. We're very grateful for your support. When I hired new people, which we still have a few vacancies to fill that are already authorized, one of the things that's a selling point, I joked recently that Deputy Chief Lawless was his picture was attracting people from Vegas to come here, but the reality is the great culture, the great leadership, and the city leadership is attracting people to come here. Police officers know when there's support from their council, from their mayor, and they know they have that here. And while we may take that for granted here, it really is somewhat uncommon the last 5 years across the United States, which has driven a lot of people away from this career field. So we've been able to attract some really good people because they know when they come here that they have a great organization that's very well supported. So I'd like to thank you for that.
Okay, thank you. Colleagues, any questions? Yes, Ms. Jones.
Yeah, I do have one, and apologies, didn't submit this before, just was rereading it. When, in the budget book, it was referencing I think the mental health liaison and converting that to a city employee. Can you just, like, what does that mean exactly?
So that position was originally funded as a city employee. We, you know, a lot of changes in that space over the last few years. We found difficult to recruit for it. We changed that last year, asking for contracted services to contract. We contracted with Centero. We had a contracted employee working for us through Centero. She moved out of the region, and it gave us an opportunity. She was with us about 6 or 7 months. It kind of gave us an opportunity to, again, we were rolling out some phases of our community liaison program, who they work hand in hand with the community paramedic. You know, they're doing a lot of touch points with the officers. But we were able to kind of evaluate how well that worked. And we believe that it would best be serviced by an employee, because there's some things that as you work through, like our response, you know, you get into what can a contracted employee do in terms of a response? Are they covered by whose insurance and those types of things, especially in that, you know, that type of space where you're dealing with, you know, mental health. It's best that we have that employee. So that is coming back. It's funded in our 25 budget, so it's really not an add as part of 26. Just moving those funds from contract services back to operating.
Okay. And will it be an officer or a, no?
No,
So it's
not-
still
no.
this similar function
Yeah, absolutely.
to the Centero, but just
Yes.
on staff?
And
Okay.
we continue to kind of dial in on that job description and kind of what best really suits that role.
Yeah.
After having, you know, several months of experience.
Thank you. I appreciate that, and reevaluating and looking at it and continue to keep it a priority. So thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Bowers.
Yeah, thank you. Just a quick follow-up. Could you speak a little bit to the efficacy of the flock cameras?
I certainly can. You know, as a matter of fact, we had a situation and today that spanned a couple of states that we had. We found a 15-year-old girl who was a runaway tracked her all the way to Indiana. The Indiana State Police helped in recovering her. Lieutenant Cohagen really can speak about you know, case after case and kind of the overall data. He manages that program under Chief Moffitt. And then on the investigative side, Deputy Chief Lawless. But, you know, I'm going to call him up real quick, put him on the spot, because he's really the subject matter expert.
Yeah, so I can answer any questions you guys have. The situation today was a missing 15-year-old. We received the call at 7 o'clock in the morning. We realized she was not in the state. Excuse me, I have a little bit of a cold. She was not in the state. We ran the tag through the flock cameras. It hit in Indiana. We contacted the Indiana State Police. They put it in their cameras. They entered the tag into their flock system. They were able to locate her within 4 hours. So just with that short time period, we knew she was missing. We found her in another state. Had we not had access to the flock cameras, we may have not found her. You definitely wouldn't have found her that quickly. We've used the flock cameras. They were been installed excuse me, since June of last year. In that time, we've had about 80, a little over 80 successes with missing persons, suicidal persons, felonious assaults, warrants. We track stolen vehicles. We get alerts, on stolen vehicles, stolen plates, missing persons, Amber Alerts. and also gang or suspected terrorists. We have 21 cameras now. We're looking to expand that to 36. That would give us all points of entry into the city. It would also give us major thoroughfares throughout the city. And it's allowed us to, it's a force multiplier. So it allows us, not only do we have access to our cameras, we have access to over 1,700 networks throughout the United States, which is tens of thousands of cameras. Agencies also use our cameras to assist with their investigations. But we found DVs, suspects, we found, again, felonious assaults. We're looking to put them, again, in the higher traffic areas, shore up some entrances into the city, and also monitor some of our city parks that we've had a little bit of problems with. Again, it just allows us to proactively work these alerts, our officers on the street, and then reactively, if we get a suspect vehicle in a case, we can use that information to develop investigative leads.
Thank you, Lieutenant Cohagen. Just as a follow-up, how would you address residents who have concerns about privacy and balancing privacy
Sure.
interests?
Absolutely. So every flock search that we do is audited. We have to enter a case number and a reason for the search. We have a policy that specifically states it has to be for a law enforcement reason. Flock does not sell third-party data. We store no flock data unless we use it as evidence in a case. We download a PDF. It's impounded as evidence or uploaded into the case file. We store no data from Flock. Flock only retains the data for 30 days. It is then deleted from their system. Again, they don't sell our information. They don't sell our citizens' information. We have to have a reason to run those records. Flock right now, over the last month, we've scanned over 1 million vehicles. We've a very small percentage are we actually searching those vehicles. We're not following people around the city of Gahanna. We are specifically targeting suspect vehicles and or missing persons through the system.
Thank you very much. Go ahead, Chief.
Just an add, we've had a spike in 23. We had a significant spike in stolen vehicles. Those numbers had trended upward over the last 3 or 4 years, and those numbers are now cut in a third since we've had those cameras in our. We just recovered a stolen vehicle over the weekend. Single mom had her vehicle stolen, actually in Columbus. We recovered that. We made some arrests. We recovered a stolen firearm out of that car during the course of the arrest.
Last weekend, we had 5 arrests out of the Flock vehicle, or the Flock system. 2 shoplifting that had multiple warrants throughout the city of Columbus and surrounding areas. And then three juveniles that were in a stolen vehicle with a stolen gun, with the vehicle owned by a single mother, which Chief alluded to.
And just to, I think, one follow-up, Chairman. Director Becker, I appreciate your compliments, but it's because it's been earned. And I think I need to make sure that that is very clearly reflected, that it is by virtue of the work, the values, and the commitment to community-oriented policing that there is such cohesive support for the work that public safety is doing here. I know when Chief joined at, well, he's been with the department for a long time, but when Chief was promoted to Chief, he really brought with him a dedication to the 6 pillars of community policing, best practice policing, and a guardianship mentality. And so that is truly reflected in everything that you do, and very well earned the trust of the community. So thank you.
Thank you. I know that Councilman Snetzer is actually next, but maybe this is a good time to segue a little bit into the CALEA. And could you talk about that? What does even CALEA stand for? And give us a little bit of flavor and detail about what that is.
Sure. I'll try to do it justice. What I would say is Deputy Chief Lawless back there has lived and breathed it now for a number of years with our accreditation manager. We'll be back in front of you very soon once we return, hopefully here in another week and a half with that gold seal of approval. Director Becker comes from an agency that was accredited. We bit off a large undertaking. We sought first-time accreditation and advanced certification at the same time, which everybody said, are you nuts? Why would you try to do that? But I figured, with everything that we have happening here, obviously a new facility and everything that's going on, and our continued focus in the community, that why not swing for the fence and try to bring back the gold standard. But what it means, we have over 450 policies that contain best practices in policing. They get very detailed in terms of audits and compliance documentation, and making sure that when we say we're doing things in line with best practices, there's another entity that actually looks at all of that compliance data and says, yes, you are. That's it in a nutshell. There's a lot more to it, but what I think is, we've frequently been here and we've tried to say, how good we do on our performance metrics, and the 6 pillars of policing and how that manifests itself out in the community. But I think that it is important that there's a third party that's looking at everything, that makes sure that, when we say we audit that information, when we say that we're looking at our training program. Again, when we went through our on-site, we had no advanced knowledge of what they were going to look at. They looked at our training program. They looked at our mental health response. I don't think they could have picked out 5 areas of our organization that we weren't going to hit out of the park. So by luck, but some very important ones nationally. In a nutshell, it is a continuing program. We're already gathering documentation for 25. Everything that we've done through this year, that'll, once that accreditation occurs, hopefully in another week and a half, all it does is enter us in another four-year cycle for reaccreditation. So it's an ongoing program, but essentially adhering us to best practices in law enforcement across the country.
CLIA is the Commission on Accreditation for Law Enforcement Agencies.
Sorry.
That's the acronym. International organization, again, they monitor, they're large, small, everything in between agencies. They monitor the best practices. They demand that accredited agencies have policies that comport with their standards. They don't dictate what the policy is going to be, but it has to hit the tenets of the best practices. And then not only do you have to have those policies in place and demonstrate that you train on those policies, you have to demonstrate that you lived the policies. So we have to do compliance reports. We have to show proofs of compliance in every one of those hundreds, 400 and whatever compliance standards every year. So it's forcing us to continually stay on top of the game, make sure we're on the cutting edge. You can't get stagnant, and you can't just say, well, we did this once, we can check that box. It's a continual process. So we'll be doing that at all points forward.
Thank you. I thought it was actually very apropos at the moment that we were talking about something that's sensitive about flock cameras, and it was mentioned that the best practices by Lieutenant Cohagen, but that we actually segue and recognize that you are getting ready to be accredited by an international organization on best practices. So, thank you. Councilman Snetzer.
Oh, thank you, Chair Renner. Appreciate Deputy Chiefs Lawless and Moffitt and Lieutenant Cohagen for being here in support of these two guys up front. I've noticed the chief is...
I also want to point out Ryan Warps is part of our civilian professional staff. He is all things metrics and money, and he's back there waiting patiently with spreadsheets on top of spreadsheets that make my head spin.
Sounds like my kind of guy.
You two would get along.
But I've noticed, Chief, you're delegating here a little bit. So
I'm trying.
It's good. It's good. Apologies for not pre-submitting this question. I was traveling last week for my day job. But I have a question about staffing, particularly the sworn officer count. Obviously, pre-issue 12, we were somewhat of a nadir with retirements and attrition. But of course, the sworn officer count has risen, and thankfully so. Fully recognizing this is a 24/7, 365 operation, we have special duty. In the budget book, there's reference to the growing demands of the schools with SROs. I'm just curious, at today's authorized level, are we getting close, or is there just a significant gap that remains?
We're getting very close.
Okay.
We still have vacancies to fill, both with our sworn staff, but also in our communication section, the dispatchers. We're working diligently forward. We've made great progress this year over the last couple of years. One of the areas that during our on-site for CALIA, they looked at recruiting, hiring, retention, all of those things, looked at our hiring practices. It is a very competitive field. We don't have the number of applicants that we once did. We've had good success in the area of lateral transfers from other agencies. We've brought them in front of council. While that is a good program, and I want to say that we're not just looking for an experienced police officer, because there are lots of experienced police officers out there, but it's also finding the right fit for the agency and for the community. So
we probably could be fully staffed right now, because we've had the lateral applicants. Chief has a saying that I appreciate, is we're looking for Mr. and Mrs. Right, not Mr. and Mrs. Right now. And we value all the culture change, all the leadership that's been done to get the organization to where they're at. We're not just taking anybody, we're taking the best applicants we can get. And we've been very pleased with who we've been able to hire lately. And it's through a very thorough vetting and background process, and we're not willing to compromise that. So we'll keep chugging away. We're going to get these spots filled, because as I said, the word's getting out. So we got somebody we hired earlier this year. We're getting ready to give a final offer to one of his old teammates at his agency. So they found that, good things are happening here, and they want to be part of it.
Excellent, thank you.
Councilwoman Padova.
Yes, thank you. Can you remind me, and I apologize if I missed it in here, we have 4 school resource officers now, and you're requesting one more. And what is the school shares some of the cost of those, correct?
The schools share cost of 2 that are anchored at the high school.
Okay.
So our ask is for a third, is for a fifth, is for an additional, a mid-year hire, which would then align that position with the 26-27 school year. As Senior Director Vollmer mentioned in the presentation, looking at things like relief factor, making sure we have adequate staffing with school resource officers. Those officers do require, by Ohio Revised Code, they have to go through specific training to perform that function. It's mandated by law. But we also layer in a lot of other training that makes them perform best at that role. Right now, we have 4. 2 of those, again, anchored at the high school in a cost share agreement with the district. We have 1 that Officer Crystal Jones, she floats between the 3 middle schools. So that leaves us with 1, essentially to go to the elementary schools, act as a relief factor if somebody calls off sick or is in training or has or is pulled elsewhere. We have the elementary school buildings. Recent national events, we've had an increase in calls from our private school partners. Again, they're vulnerable population centers between St. Matthew's School, Shepherd Nazarene, and Columbus Academy, which has over 1,500 students, teachers, and staff on that campus on any given day. So we've seen a demand in the private schools, but also the elementary schools. You know, problems really don't occur all that often as we see in the elementary schools, but they do occur, and there is a safety interest of parents of wanting to see police presence in and around in the buildings at the elementary school level. So that's our current alignment. As we discussed earlier, you know, we've got this new high school building adding about another over 100,000 square feet. You know, we've done a lot of planning. We've done a lot of walkthroughs of that facility, you know, both from a city planning perspective with Director Schultz, but, you know, also internally, and how that building and how we kind of navigate that and what demands it will take. You know, those are questions to be for us to work. You know, we continue to do pre-planning, and we will continue to do that with the district, but what demand that may pull us in a certain day, just based on sheer size and enrollment, we don't really know. And that's also another reason why we kind of wanted to align it with the 26-27 school year of that ask.
Thank you.
Councilman Schnitzer.
Just to follow up on that, in years past, Chief, you've referred, in describing the program, you've referred to one of those officers as a rover.
Yes.
So you mentioned the two that are anchored at the high school, and there's a third that goes to the middle schools, and then now there's a fourth that goes to
That
the
essentially services all the other buildings.
Sure.
But that
Which one would be the rover in that?
True, and the ask is really to provide us some reasonable relief factor, that if we do, you know, again, those officers still have to attend in-service training. We're pulling them for various assignments. They're in, if there's a building need at Middle School East, and I think we are seeing a lot of demand at the middle school level right now, unfortunately. But at the middle school level, that rover is quickly becoming.
Rover is kind of the middle school officer.
Yeah.
So this is purely just the educational, you know, when I'm talking to folks and they ask about it, I want to just make sure I'm communicating the same thing.
So that entire function falls under Lieutenant Cohagen and up through Chief Moffett. But there is a sergeant, Sergeant Kyle Parrish, the existing 4 SROs, and then the 2 community liaisons all fall under that function.
Anything else from my colleagues? All right, Chief, thank you. Director, thank you very much for your time, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I don't have the calendar in front of me.
There it is.
Okay. Miranda, you want to talk about the calendar?
Okay, there we go. So next week, we're requesting questions on Department of Administrative Services, so it'll be IT, Finance, HR, Mayor's Court, and then the Mayor's Office, including Marketing, Communications, and Economic Development.
How was that all?
You know, we just put them all together.
Okay. Thank you. I just want to remind my colleagues that please get your questions to me in advance by Thursday night.
Sorry, I did that out loud, sorry. It's a lot of questions, but we got it. It's
Yeah,
good.
it's fine, it's fine. And then I'll put them together and give them to Jeremy to give to the administration on Friday. Okay? Do I have a motion to adjourn?